How's it going, everybody? Matt Bourie from the Jackpot Gents with my dad, Steve Bourie, and our special guest, Anthony Curtis from the Las Vegas Advisor. How you doing today, Anthony?
Doing good. Seems like I just saw you a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so this is part two of our interview. Part one is on our other channel, the Jackpot Gents, and part two is here on the American Casino Guidebook. The link to part one is down in the description if you missed that. So we're talking about all the updates that are going on in Las Vegas. So I guess let's just hop right into it. Our next question is updates on the Mirage. I saw an article, I think it was yesterday, that said that they got the approval to build the guitar now. So that's officially happening, which I think was pretty much always the case, but now it's official. Is the volcano still going?
Yeah, everything, you wouldn't know the difference. Obviously it's the Seminoles have taken over there. They're going to make it a Hard Rock. The Seminole tribe is taken over operations. And but you wouldn't know the difference. It's just like it's always been the Mirage. The volcano continues to go off. There's been no execution date set for the volcano. So we don't know what that execution date will be, although it will come because they're going to build the guitar-shaped hotel in that area. They just got the official okay, so we know that that's going to happen. But other than that, not much. Not any big changes there.
And they're not planning on closing it, correct?
My understanding is that they're going to keep it open, that they're going to build around it. And, originally everybody, the word was they were going to close it for up to a year to a year and a half. Now, no, they're going to just, we talked in the first segment about, some of the, lack of customer service and things like that. So if you're getting less customer service in places, what's a little bit of construction going on when you're in the joint, right? So why close it? Keep the revenues moving.
Well, that's what they did down here.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what they did down here.
Because that I can, if I open the window right now, I could see the guitar right now from where we're shooting this video at my dad's house, and it is a 40-story guitar they built. They never closed the place down at all. It was unreal. Other than you could hear some banging and stuff going on, but you never saw any of the construction. They had walls up that were moving. Like you'd come in one day, there'd be a wall up. You'd come in another week, the wall would be somewhere else. And so they know what they did down here. So hopefully they're going to just do the same thing over there.
That's the plan. It's the plan. It will, as of now, it will not close.
All right. Well, here's a dreaded subject we always hate talking about. Well, we hate being involved with, but we have to talk about it, and that's parking fees. Now, let's start with the I was going to ask in general, have there been any changes? But let's start with the Mirage. Have they changed anything once they took over the Seminoles?
No, nothing's changed at all. I mean, everything has remained in place just as it was. The same schedule as at least the last time I checked it. The same schedule as it was when it was owned by MGM. So you get like, I think you get an hour's grace, so you could run in there and make a sports bet or something like that. But from that point on, you start getting charged unless you've got a high level, card, or I believe if you've got the credit card. But you know what? I don't know how that works. The Mirage MGM credit card probably won't work at the Mirage anymore. So that used to be something, a way around it. But I'm sure if you got the higher level card there, you can park for free. But I mean, it's still pretty much the same. The places that, Treasure Island at Center Strip, the Venetian, the Wynn, Encore, these are places you can park for free. Sahara, but just about everywhere else you've got to pay for parking. Definitely at all the MGM and Caesars properties.
I guess now that we mentioned it, did the Players Club roll over at the Mirage? Is it the Hard Rock Players Club now, or is it still an MGM Players Club? Do you know?
I don't know. That one I don't know. I actually haven't been in there or had to use a card there for anything, so I don't know about that one.
Okay, now I guess let's talk about Caesars news now. I know one of the last times we spoke, you and I had been speculating for several interviews about what they were selling, and then I thought I was right with the Flamingo, but I think, did they give up on that? Because I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, my understanding is that they're not looking to sell anymore, and you were right. I mean, that was the direction they were going. It looked like there was going to be a deal for the Flamingo, but no. Apparently they're keeping everything as of now. I mean, all that talk has sort of stopped, and they were managing the Rio for a couple of years, and that's going to stop soon. And it will be taken over by the New York group that owns it. But there's a lot of talk there about a possible baseball stadium going in next to the Rio, not replacing the Rio, but going into the parking lots. They have a gigantic, expansive parking spaces there that would hold a Major League Baseball stadium.
And then, well, now we're going to get into the confusing part, which is I call them the blue Ballys and the red Ballys. So the Ballys that's been on the strip for decades is supposed to change its name, and that's blue Ballys because their logo is blue. They're supposed to change their name to the Horseshoe, right? Which is that still happening? Because that was supposed to happen months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's done. That's done. That's
it is?
Yeah, that's it's now Horseshoe Las Vegas.
Okay.
And they've got the signage up. There's just a few little bit unfinished signs, and there's a marquee in the front. They used to have that Bally's rotating
big tall thing.
Yeah. And they took it all down and they built another one that looks almost the same, but it's not going to have the scrolling thing. And other than that, all the branding's been done. And that is, we're actually at the point now where when we write about it, we used to always say formerly Bally's. We don't even say that anymore. We just say the Horseshoe Las Vegas.
Most important question to me, did they bring in 100 times odds on the craps?
Oh gosh, they didn't bring in anything that remind you of the Horseshoe, not a thing. Maybe a couple of they did bring in the facsimile of the $100 bills that you can take a photo of, the $1 million in $100 bills. We've now ascertained those are not real bills, but it still looks pretty cool. It's a good photo op.
And now counterfeit bills, you can have your picture taken with counterfeit bills. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, right. Isn't that great?
And now the other one, the other Bally's, which is the Bally's with the red logo that had the TV sports station, they're supposed to take over the Tropicana, I believe. Is that still going on now? Because I know that the Bally's TV stations just filed for bankruptcy, which made me wonder, are they still going to be taking over more casinos if their TV stations just filed for bankruptcy?
Well, they own that. They own the Tropicana. And that's Bally's Corp that does own Tropicana. They've been buying casinos all around the country, and they will eventually. They say they're going to change the name to Bally's, but that's not going to happen for probably a couple of years. It's going to remain Tropicana. Tropicana is still, that's pretty good brand. So they're in no real hurry until they really got it planned out.
Gotcha, makes sense.
Now, I was reading an article the other day from a California newspaper. Headline was, are the Vegas casino buffets salad days over, or is it coming back for seconds? So what's the status on buffets? And you were quoted in that article,
Anthony?
Yeah, I was interviewed for that article. Yeah, I'll tell you what I told them. I think we're very close to hitting where we're going to be. We've got 13 buffets now, or is it 14? I think we've got 14. Last year at this time we had 13, and the only new one we got was when the Palms came on. And the food courts are the new buffet. I said earlier that in the first segment that for table minimums, $15 is a new $5. And same thing with buffets. Food courts are the new buffets. Every new place that opens brags about the food courts. They're all going into the areas where the buffets used to be. Station's not bringing them back. Boyd's not bringing them back. Looks like
you and I had been talking about this for like a year. We're both of the same mindset. We think that they've been looking for a reason to get rid of the buffets, and they were so beloved that they sort of painted themselves into a corner, and they sort of have now just used COVID as a scapegoat, right?
Absolutely. That's exactly what they've done. After that article came out, food and beverage guy who has some really good inside knowledge about that contacted me. He goes, you nailed it. He goes, that's exactly what happened. They wanted out of the buffets. They got their excuse when they had to close for COVID. And they said, that's it. That's how we get, because they're like, how are we going to wean these people off of the buffets? They're going to all scream bloody murder, right? Mm-hmm. And how do we do it? Well, COVID did it for them. It was like one of the greatest things that ever happened to them. Not that the buffets, I continue to say this, and I continue to verify this with people in the know. Not that the buffets lose money for them, but it doesn't make enough. They're not happy with it.
But I do have to correct you here, because you said food courts, and they're not food courts. They're food halls, because if you call it a food hall, Anthony, you get to double the price of everything in it.
Excuse me, man. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, the other day, I got the word that New York on the second floor had opened up a new food hall. So I went to check out that food hall. which has a pizza place, a steak and shake, and the burrito place. That's a food hall. 3 joints, right?
They're doing the same thing down here. That's getting real popular down here, like down in Miami and Wynwood. They got a big food hall opening where it's like, I guess what they can do is you can get like higher end people. They can come in and like if they want to be a chef, they can just don't have to pay for all the expenses of the whole restaurant. They just have to pay for their little kitchen area, and then they have shared seating. And then like there's a place by my house up in Delray Beach where I live. It's called the Delray Beach Marketplace. It's just like a giant warehouse that they just filled full of restaurants and gave you cute stuff to take your Instagram photos in front of.
I will give them this. These some of these food halls, they are getting pretty fancy. The ones that really are halls, you know, like what they're doing at Aria, what they did at the Cosmo, what they're planning for Durango Station. Some of them are bringing in some really interesting vendors, you know, restaurants and vendors. So there is a good part to it. You know, the one they just opened, I got to say, at the Fremont downtown. They replaced the buffet with the food hall, and it really is a food hall. There's about, you know, 6 or 7 restaurants there, and they're good. They're very good.
So what you were saying, they added the Cosmo, is that Egg Slut? Because
No, Egg Slut is a different thing at Cosmo. You know,
which
that's
is really
different,
good.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's good. And I
It's
mean,
a breakfast place. But
they've got-
now I will say it's very good. I don't think it's worth the wait because I had to wait over an hour to get the food last time. So I'm not sure it's worth the wait, but it is very, very good if the line's ever short.
yeah, I don't think anything's worth that wait. You know, I mean, same thing, lobster buffet at the Palms. You know, I'm not going to wait 4 hours, you know, for that sort of thing. Egg Slut isn't quite like that, but I mean, in the morning, you want something quick. You really want to wait half an hour in line? I don't, you know. But that's not in their food court. Their food courts is different. That's like just a different standalone vendor that came in.
Oh, okay. Now, Dad, it's your favorite question.
Oh, wait,
Are you ready, Anthony?
wait, before we go there, we had the, I know you're ready to jump right to that. I wanted to ask about shows. Any update on the shows?
The only thing about the shows, I mean,
Are they discounting more or?
they're all discounted. I mean, again, this is the advice on this is that you look for discounts anywhere you can. I mean, online and in the magazines and things like that. Now, the big shows, no, you're not going to find discounts on Cirque unless they're doing something, you know, with all of their shows for a brief period of time for whatever reason. Maybe it's slow season, who knows, or they're just trying to bump up some numbers. But the smaller ones, yeah, you're finding discounts all over the place. They come and go, just like, you know, all the time. They come and go. The big news was Awakening, which replaced Le Rêve, the Win, and it started off kind of not too well. It's an interesting show. It's really I don't know. I guess you would say for the technology and for the choreography and the music and the sound and everything else, it's great. But it had a really strange meandering theme and nobody understood what was going on. So they shut it down actually for a month, and they kind of reset the storyline, and that's reopened. So, you know, other than that, it's, you know, pretty much Cirque and a bunch of little shows and a few things here and there. A lot of comedy clubs and stuff. I mean, a lot of non-casino places are opening up, like Wise Guys Comedy Club downtown. And we've had a couple of standalone jazz places open in the last couple of months, one downtown, one off the strip. So, you know, Vegas is still, you know, entertainment central, no doubt about that.
All right, we're going to wrap this up though with my final question that I always ask, because we're still talking about shows and entertainment, and that's the Sphere. Every time we speak to you, we always end it with an update on the Sphere, and it kept getting more and more expensive. The last time, I think it was $1.6 billion back in October. And I was reading another article. This was, it said, U2, James Dolan, and a looming $2.2 billion Las Vegas Strip disaster. So can you explain what's happening with the Sphere?
Yeah, that's the 2.2, actually either 2.17 or 2.18, but at most they're quoting 2.2 billion. Looks like it's going to be the closing price, the closing cost. They've had a lot of upheaval in their upper ranks because of these cost overruns. They did announce the opening month. The opening month is going to be September of this year. And the reason for that is that they are on the Sphere is on the track that the F1 is going to run. So the Formula One race is going to run down the strip, but then it's going to make a left on Harmon, and it's go down to Koval and back up around, and it's going to go right past the Sphere. So they want it to be open. The race is going to be in November. They're opening in September. And we still don't have the exact date in September, but that's the month for sure. 2.2 billion looks like it's going to be the final cost, unless they throw another 100 million or two on top of it. And it looks cool. I'll tell you what, from the outside, it looks pretty awesome, man. Big dome. I guess there's going to be all kinds of lights coming off of it and advertising and everything. It's it's another spectacle just to view. I can tell you that.
Now I saw an article just the other day that said they're trying to hire 3,000 people to run that place. That seems insane to me that they need 3,000 people. So that just sort of put it in perspective for me how insane this place is going to be.
Yeah, well, they're talking about, when they talk about their schedule, I guess it's going to be a super aggressive schedule with the amount of shows they're going to have. So, I mean, it won't be 3,000 obviously all at one time, but it's, they're going to be running at some points probably 7 days a week.
Well, because what it is U2 is doing a residency to open it, right? But it's like not one like solid residency like everybody else has done. They're just going to be playing like several times a month for like the whole year or something, right? More or less.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's supposed to be just an unbelievable show. I mean, that's what they keep saying. I've seen U2 here in Vegas, and they always put on, I mean, this is 25 years ago, and they put on unbelievable, spectacular shows. And they're saying this one's going to be like nothing else before it. It's also probably going to be about 6-7 times the cost of what it used to be when they'd come to town at Sanborn Stadium and all. But yeah, that's how they're going to do it. It's going to be, they're calling it a residency. It's going to be like a series of 3 and 4 concerts at a time. Then they'll come back in a month and then come back in a month and that kind of thing.
Which kind of makes sense for Vegas, because not everybody's in Vegas all the time, Now, Dad, did you have something you wanted to say here to all of the critics? Did you have an I told you so or something that you wanted to put out here?
Well, I kept saying the thing keeps getting bigger and bigger, the price tag. I mean, how are they going to make money on it? But according to this article, the way it was structured, the deal, I believe, they said they didn't see how they were going to be able to make money on it because they were guaranteeing U2 a certain amount of money. And the way it was structured, they were not able to make extra money on it somehow. Are you familiar with the details on that?
No, not really. It's been pretty hush hush about what's going on. You hear things, people talk about it, that there's something screwy going on, that in order to get U2, they probably had to give up a whole lot in terms of merchandising and all that other stuff, maybe concessions and things. I'm not sure how it's structured, but I guess they wanted the big splash and that was it. How are they going to make money? They're going to make money with they're going to make money with a very packed schedule. Like I said, the word is there's just going to be lots and lots of shows and not sporting events per se. There will be certain sort of sporting events that will work in there, like a boxing match might work. But if it's a real big one, they're not big enough. They don't have enough, they're not going to have enough seating. So they're not going to do a lot of sporting events. It's going to be a lot of concerts in there. This is my understanding.
All right. Well, if anyone wants to look it up, I believe it was in The Street is where the article was. Look up $2.2 billion Las Vegas Strip disaster. That was the headline on the article.
All right, so Anthony Curtis, thank you very much for joining us today. This was a 2-part video. Don't forget, check out part 1 on our other channel, the Jackpot Gents. People want to learn more about you and your work. Where can they do that?
Online, just come to our website, lasvegasadvisor.com. Lots of content up there. If they're interested in becoming members, we've got the member rewards book, which is
they have fantastic coupons. Fantastic.
Strong one. Yeah, the discounts for the Palms Buffet and so forth. And then YouTube, just look up Las Vegas Advisor on YouTube. We put up an update once a week.
Yes, and their link, check down in the description. There's a link straight to their YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to them for everything Las Vegas.
Yeah, Anthony, it's always great talking to you. Thanks for being here. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And best wishes for good luck in the casino.